Yo, all right. So Jay, can you tell us your history with
Bad Boy?
Yeah, tell us the history with Bad Boys.
Take that.
So I used to work for Bad Boy doing street team promotion. I ran Biggie's second album, Life After the Death. I did Little Kim's first album. I did 112's first album, and I was like the team leader for the Bronx. So I would hit up all the Bronx clubs, make sure we handing out the flyers, putting those posters up, ripping down Def Jam posters, ripping down Murder Inc. posters. Almost got into fights every day. Handing out CDs. Well, it was great because it gave me an opportunity to really understand what branding was all about. Bad Boy's brand back then was like, you walk in the club and you said DJ shouting you out, J Hatch in the building, Bad Boy in the building, man. It was like honey and bees, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody just kind of flocked over to us. We made a really big impact. But this is back in the day before like social media.
Facts. Guerrilla street team marketing. Like, that's what it's called, right, Hatch? Guerrilla street team marketing.
I don't even think there was a Black Planet yet. So I mean, it was
exactly
like no sites. So we really had to do everything, hand to hand. But it was really about balancing out like, the understanding. But like you're there to do a job. Obviously, Bad Boy really had probably like the best run at that time. But then you had people like Murder Inc. who had to come out, and there was Ja Rule posters, and there was Shanti posters, and there was Steve Rifkin and Loud and Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep, and there was just so much competition back then because you didn't have anything but that. There wasn't like any online type of marketing or promotion, so everything was about printed ads and flyers and graphics and T-shirts and towels, and so we've changed quite a bit. But I'm happy and blessed to be able to have done that and been a part of that era as well as kind of learning, and also being an innovator on the social media side of things too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, Little Kim, I didn't know Little Kim was on Bad Boy.
Yeah. I mean, when they dropped the album, what was that first record she had? That
No Time, Fake Ones.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, I honestly don't know if she was actually on it, but I know Puff worked the record for her. So
right.
We had like handing out CDs, handing out T-shirts, and I was driving a brand new white neon, no actual radio in the car, which was crazy. I drove everywhere. Nobody ever gave me no fucking driving money or any gas money or some shit. So did this shit for free. It was a volunteer position. You just wanted to be down with the brand because, I mean, Bad Boy, like I said, was running the streets back then. So it was dope, man. It was fun. Yeah. So Kim just said it was Undias that she signed to Lance on Rivera at the time.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Kim just asked, so what's your take on showcases? Do you feel they're worth it? I mean, that's how I kind of started off. I managed an artist at the time who got locked up, and I had to kind of find my way into what I was going to do. I left my job after, 8 years of working at Aeropostale. I managed like $400 million worth of staff and inventory. I was coming up, in the game, and I took a hiatus, went back to work. And then when I left, I've been self-employed now for 19 years. So I've been working for myself for 19 years. I've seen a lot of success. I started doing these showcases in New York. Everybody in the world could tell you this. Back in the day, like, everybody's showcases were trash. Like, sound was trash. If they said so-and-so was going to be there, it was trash. You got, just talent that wasn't vetted. It was just a lot of mess. You know what I'm saying? There was no real presentation, organization, no communication, none of that. So what I did was I made everybody else's weaknesses my strengths. So I always, if I said such and such A&R was going to be there, they were there. If I said they were going to win this prize package, they got that prize. If I said you were going to, come out and meet certain people and network with certain people, that was exactly what was going to happen. I always made sure whatever I said I did. And I got a lot of artists signed. I got Chrisette Michelle, her deal with Def Jam. Back then. People like Diddy, Teddy Riley, Dallas Austin, Swizz Beatz would show up at the shows. This was like, we're going back like a good 15, 16 years ago. And then I started doing this istandard producer showcase, and some of your favorite producers in the game right now came through my, program. People like Cardiac, Black Metaphor, Buddha and Grands, S1 who did Kanye West Power, Cardo. A bunch of different people came through the istandard brand. So we built a lot of
Get Your Buzz Up events.
Oh, well, actually it was Faces in the Crowd first, then it was Get Your Buzz Up, and then it was the istandard thing. So I recently stepped down from istandard, and I'm doing a lot more you know, consulting and mentorship and song camps, consulting some brands. I managed some clients. I had the pleasure of managing, you know, 2 Grammy Award-winning producer extraordinaires. Focus, who's one of Dr. Dre's main producers. I managed him through the whole Compton process. But he produced records like Conglomerate for Busta Rhymes. You know, Yes for Beyonce. You know, he's worked with a lot of different artists as well. So, and then I recently managed Denon Porter, who's one of Eminem's producers. You know, Denon was part of D12 as well. And then even more recently, I found my own writer, who I ended up, you know, getting a publishing deal for with no placements, and she co-wrote 7 Rings for Ariana Grande and Thank You Next for Ariana Grande as well. And now I manage an artist by the name of Eli Groves, who's doing some great things. Super dope. But going back to her main question, do I feel like showcases are worth it? I think it's really just a matter of you kind of doing your homework. You know, back then, like, there wasn't as many showcases as there was, you know, recently. So if people wanted to come to my show and they knew I was charging a certain amount of money because my show was top notch, you know, there was value there. You know, if they were ever questioning the price, I would just say, hey, come out to the event for free, check it out. And eventually you're going to want to do the event because it's going to be lit. There's going to be a ton of people there. Your networking game is going to be crazy, and you're going to want to show your you know, your craft in front of these people. So, and then once Chrisette got her deal, it was crazy because every A&R in town wanted to know what I was doing, you know, to get these artists, you know, their deals and whatnot. So who was the next rapper? Who was the next singer? Who was the next, you know, whatever. So I was lucky to have a good stake in the game back then. But then the artist showcase thing started getting out of proportion. A lot of fakeness, a lot of people just trying to get money, and I wasn't with it. And the producers were a little more, you know, they really didn't have the shine. So, you know, it was more like a battle thing, but I didn't want it to be a battle. I wanted to be more of a education and presentation thing. Train them on how to walk into an office or a session and be ready. You know, how to present your music, the sound quality, how to properly communicate with the people you're trying to work with. And like I said, we got a lot of great things worked, got a lot of records placed, and that's what it is.
How do you feel about the artist now?
I mean, you know, I'm an OG. I'm from the 90s era, but I've also been able to be here through everything. I mean, I could tell you who the next hottest dude in the street is because I have people around me that also keep their ears open. So I always make sure that I have people around me that are, you know, relative to what's going on. But at the same time, I'm still in the game. I might listen to Q-Tip and Nas when I'm at home, but I'm still out at the club. I still hear the stuff coming out now. You know what I'm saying? These young dudes are breaking you know, strides. They're making new trends. You can't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying, at all. So
that trap music shit is trash.
I don't like today. I asked you because I don't like the rappers today like that.
Well, let me tell you something. This is where I my thought process changed a little bit. When I started traveling a lot, and I would go to, like, you know, Atlanta, or I go to Miami, or I go to LA, or the Bay Area, or Dallas, started to realize, like, you know, when you're really just kind of like in New York, and there was no internet at the time, you know, your idols are your idols. Your influences, the people that are right in front of you, right? So when I was in the Bay Area, remember that record, you know, the Akon record, Locked Up?
Yeah.
You know, in New York, all you heard was the Styles P version, right, with him rapping. I went out to San Francisco, and in the Bay Area, you know, E40 is the guy out there. So they had the same record, but E40 was the guy rapping in the verse. And I was like, oh, is this a remix? And they're like, nah, this is the only version we've ever heard. You know,
really?
so you start to realize, like, there's people who, you know, you get influenced by different people. We all know Jay-Z is one of the greatest, right? But until probably about 10 years ago, you know, Jay probably wasn't on everybody's list because they couldn't, you know, his music didn't really get around to everybody at that same rate. So, and the reason why trap is really winning right now is just because it's you know, it's a mindset. It's like, you know, they're really thinking about money and cars and drugs but
the labels, they don't want to hear that shit no more. Like, if you I know you say you in the labels, you work with them. I'm in E1 all the time. So they don't want to. The labels, they don't want to hear that trap shit no more. They're tired of the same thing. They want to hear something new. They want to hear real.
Everybody sound the same.
Right. Yeah, they don't hear that.
But that's not across the board because, you know, I also shop a lot of beats. So when I'm in these offices, they're like, I need a beat like such and such on the radio right now. You know, they don't want something new. They say they do, but they'll be safe as fuck because they don't want to take a chance. Like E1's a little differently because E1 kind of moves a little more independently than, let's say, Universal or, you know, one of these other labels. Like if E1 wants to put out something on a one-off because they love it, and that person has a fan base, everybody wins. You know, these record labels are looking for like
these artists don't even sign to these labels no more. Like they're not signing to these labels. They put it out independent. I don't know.
Well, can I ask a question to all the New York people? Since there is not a top number New York rapper in the game, how do you all feel about that?
He was just killed. He was just killed.
Who?
That young boy Pop Smoke was the next. He was the next big thing. He was the next big thing. You bugging? You're bugging.
I mean, Pop Smoke was good, but I could argue that.
Who said Pop Smoke was the next big thing?
World said that.
World, stop it.
Nigga, that was the next nigga, son. Y'all bugging.
So since New York, I want to ask another question. Since
that nigga only had a deep voice, that nigga was trash, bro. He
said, don't matter. That shit was gonna carry him.
Like everybody
that
else.
shit was gonna carry him, though, bro.
So
that shit was gonna carry him.
Since New York is not carrying, the game, like it. So I noticed that a lot of you all feel as though trap is trash.
It's not the fact that New York isn't carrying the game. It's the fact that what everybody is aiming and looking for is the trap and the mumble. New York isn't made really for producing mumble rap music.
But it's a lot of
we tried that crap with Tekashi.
A lot of
we tried that crap with Tekashi, but it didn't work out. We're used to putting out raw music.
But Tekashi wasn't mumble rap.
He was just stupid rap. But Tekashi wasn't mumble rap. He was just stupid rap.
Well, I mean, didn't Jay-Z talk about money, cash, and hoes? Money, cash, hoes is the same thing, right?
And then you forgot about you forgot about Cardi B. Cardi B holding it down for New York.
Yeah, she holding it down for the BX.
Yeah,
I don't like trap music. It's annoying.
But I'm saying, I mean, she is, but usually you had that number one superstar type of rapper who's from New York.
Who said she makes trap music?
I was joking.
Listen, man, everybody has their own opinion. That's the good part about all this. But you know, like I said, where you come from is very influential on how you.
Opinion. It's about what hip hop started from, and it didn't start on that bullshit.